Today, I feel the bubble. Every week, I have this weird relationship with the universe. I get a bubble, things bubble inside me, and I feel like, okay, Prima, you need to go live. This matters. Somebody needs to hear this. And I don't know what it is, other than it's just something that is bubbling inside me and it kind of needs to get up. If you happen to catch this on the replay, let me know that you did catch this on the replay. Wherever you are from in the world, I honor and appreciate your time, and welcome to Prima FM. This is how I'm calling it. It's like a radio station, and a message needs to come out, and I just press live and share the message. Today, I'm going to talk to you about whatever comes through. But what I do know is that today I want to talk about what I'm doing in 2026, all of my lessons working with clients. I want to talk about the words that have been very like buzzwords in my world, the frequency and energetics and identity work, and how all of that plays out or has played out for the people that I have worked with, and how it's played out for me. So when you catch this, whenever you catch this, please let me know that you did catch this, or let me know in the DMs if this resonated with you. I'm one of those people that can watch your stuff for a lot of time and never leave a trace. And so the universe is very interesting in how it does its stuff, because I kind of attract the same people. They'll watch, they'll tag along, and they will not leave a trace. And I think in the past, I have been caught up in, is anybody finding this helpful? Is anybody seeing this? And I don't know who needs to hear this, but what I've decided to do in 2026 is just do the thing I know that I always do, which is speak to one person. So when I create this video, I'm thinking there's one woman in this world that needs to hear this message. And that's it. I'm not thinking how many comments, how many likes, how many shares. That's not how I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's one woman in the world who's probably wired like me. She's looking for answers. She's going to watch this and go, oh my God, that was very helpful. And when I do another video, she'll watch it. When I do another video, she'll watch it. And one day, she'll fall from the sky and reveal herself. I have had clients in the past that I didn't see for a year or 2 years. And one day I woke up and there was an email. Hey, Prima, I saw the video you did about that container. Can I get on the wait list for a mentorship? The other week, I heard from a lovely woman I haven't met in 2 years. And she was like, hey, Prima, you know that video you did about Matt? I saw that. I couldn't say anything different about my own husband. I was wondering, I like to see gorillas and I like to travel. Do you do anything business-wise? Can I come to you? Recalibrate things in my business. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I always feel like you know what you're talking about when you talk about business. And I'm like, what? So there's all these people that follow you and they watch your stuff and they see what you're doing and they say, I want that for myself. And if they're like me, they'll never leave a comment, they will never leave a like. And if they share it, they're going to share it in private. So if you're watching this, at the end of it all, you're like, oh my God, more women need to hear this. I would love for you to share it in whatever way is convenient for you. But what I wanted to say in sharing that story is that if you just get out of the loop of validation, I want to post and I want to see people liking my thing. I want to post and I want to see people commenting on it. I want to post and I want to see traction. Like, if you get out of this loop, you'll be amazed what kind of person starts coming through. You will be amazed. I have messaged people and paid 5 figures to those people, and I have never interacted with their stuff on social media. So think about your own behavior, like your own consumption behavior, your own buying behavior, your own way, like what do you appreciate? And kind of think, what if I could create for this kind of person? And it's very easy to get hung up in all the metrics. Did anyone like it? Did anyone comment on it? I can guarantee you that when you can somehow morph your mindset into, I am actually speaking to this one person who needs the highest level of my work, those people will start saying, hello, what do you have? It's happened to me. And I don't know why I'm sharing this, but maybe you need to listen to it. So Friday is one of those days when I get to be a scientist. I look at what I'm doing, I look at what I've done, I look at what I've done with clients, and I pick lessons. Sometimes I share them, sometimes I don't. And so today I want to kind of talk about my eyes getting into 2026 because I feel like I am having a different approach to how I'm building my work, my body of work on the internet. Or sipping my coffee, because it's one of like the best moments of the day. It's when I'm sipping my coffee. Last year, I was on a call with a group of women in a little mastermind I had created. And I can't remember what I said. And I said, there's something I don't understand. There's something that energetically. So before I even share this story, I think I want to talk about energy, frequency, identity, and all of the things. The hardest thing for me to do has been to kind of talk about trauma, talk about identity, talk about energetics, talk about frequency. And so I think for the biggest time, I didn't talk about these things because in my experience, that's not how I experience my evolution as an entrepreneur, as a human being. And you can imagine coming from Uganda, I probably have the highest programming on the planet. I probably had the biggest constraints in my brain of what is possible and what is not. There's not a single person in my country, in my lineage, that is doing this thing the way that I like. There's no one who's doing this kind of work. And sometimes I wake up and I go, how is this my life? Like, how is this my life? And I've started to become like a scientist, like actually look back and say, if I were to teach somebody this, how would I unpack it? Back in 2020, before 2020, like 2018, I had an offline coach. And he used to study from like Frank Khan and Jonas Saraf. And he knew all these gurus and Scott, and he knew all these gurus. And I was like, how does he know all these people? And the first thing he told us was that his biggest constraint was seeing the world outside of his smallness. He said his biggest constraint was looking at like money and kind of saying to himself, I can hold 100,000. Because when you convert that into my local currency, it's like 380 million. And so I remember Daniel in the first coaching sessions was like, the biggest thing for me, the biggest quantum leap, the biggest thing that I had to do was to rewire my mind to think outside of the box that I am born in, to think outside of my surroundings. Because he was a pastor's son and I didn't have much, and it was the church that helped the poor, and it was just like this constrained thing where he grew up. And it was like, it was so hard for me to charge people because I didn't think anybody would pay me that kind of money. I felt like a bad person asking for money. It was like I had so much limitation that came from my own upbringing. And that was my hardest bit of becoming an entrepreneur. And he was like, I want you guys to cut the time, condense the time. And it was like, the best thing you can do to get started is reprogram your mind. If you're watching this, please say hello in the replay or live. And hopefully I'll be able to say hello back. And if you don't prefer to leave a trace, that's fine. There's no judgment whatsoever. And I totally understand because that's who I am. So he introduced me to Jonah Sarah. That was like 2018. It was like 8 years ago. And he was like, the best thing you can do is rewire your brain. And I'm like, okay, I was just this open box of like, whatever I can do, I want to grow. Like, I have always been so brave that I knew that whatever exists in the world also exists for me. So for me, even way back, when I'd look at like Oprah, I'd be like, oh, one day I will be that. One day I'll be doing what she's doing. Didn't know who I was. I didn't know like what from like I didn't even know how it works. But I was like, yeah, one day I'll be Oprah. Like I'll be like that. Like I wonder. One day I'll be famous. Not even famous, but like one day I'll be impactful. One day I will have millions of people watching my stuff. That frequency I always had. Like I always knew, like, yeah, that belongs to me. When I would see, like a couple that I admire, I'd be like, that looks extraordinary. And you know what? That one day it will be me when I get married. I want something like that. I would kind of look at couples and I go, these couples are trying so hard. Why are they trying so hard to show us that they're happy? And I would look at another couple and say, those people are genuinely happy and excited for each other. And I'd be like, that over there, it will be my relationship. I always like just saying, yeah, that will be mine as well. That thing over there, I desire it. Today I look at our thing, one of our things with Matt is like homes and houses, and we always look at like the fanciest stuff. Like I look at that and I'm like, yeah, one day that will be us spending 100 grand a month. Like I have always like had this weird opening of being so brave to just say, why not? Why can't I have that? When I see a business today that is making 100 million, I go, I cannot wait for me to have those kind of figures. Like, I've always been so brave. But I remember in 2018, the guy said, one of the things you can do is rewire your brain. And I was like, rewire my brain? I was like, sounds fancy. I didn't know why I needed to rewire my brain. I didn't have so much evidence in my life that I was limiting myself. I had quit my job at that time. My boutique was making decent money, That was UGX anyway, so probably not much, but it was like, 5 million month, 10 million month. You look at you hear that and you think it's a lot, but it's not when you do the conversion back to UGX. And I was like, yeah, I'm independent, I'm free, I'm doing the thing I want to do. So I was like, yeah, it's possible. Like I had begun to believe that there was this weird possibility for me to actually do something different, like not have a job and be okay, and be single and not feel desperate. And I remember saying, yeah, I would like to take the program. And Jonas sort of had 5 programs: winning the game of money, winning the game of love, winning the game of procrastination, winning the game of fear, winning the game of whatever. Like he reprogrammed your brain for 5 things. And I went all in. And I was like, I'm doing it. It took me months and months. And I did all the 5 programs. And I was like, and so when COVID hit, I found myself coming online. By then I had lost contact with a coach. And I found myself coming online. And even way back, I felt like I could go live and share my stuff. I felt like I could post. I felt like even if I didn't know what I was doing, I would just show up and share my, like, Harris knew that, you know what, if people can do it, I can do it. And so I didn't really pay attention to the metaphysical world. I didn't pay attention to energetics and frequency and identity. I didn't pay attention to this work for the longest time because I was online and I was helping people make money because that was like the first thing I did, make money by being you. And I attracted people like me who just made money and then made money. And then as I started to help more people, I started to attract people who had exposure with this kind of work. So I started attracting people who like had this whole thing of I was traumatized when I was young, this thing happened, which then meant this and this and this. So as I grew, I started to experience a different kind of customer who had all these openings of I was traumatized and I understand a little bit of frequency and I have played in energetics and I was like, oh, okay. And so there was so much meaning about everything with these people. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't ignore this because now people began to think I'm not a match for that. I am sabotaging. It goes way back to my past life. And I'm like, what if it didn't? And so I try to just stay put. Matter of fact, let's keep building. And I realized that people were beginning to not get results. The first amount of people that I had, like the first clients, they came in with, give me the strategy, give me the process, and I'll go do it. And I gave them kind of 1+1 plus who you are equals kind of 3. Go play. And they were like, yeah, I'll play. And they just went, played with this, played with that, played with that. And they were like, hey, I made $100,000. And I'm like, holy, I can look back and kind of look at Florence. When we met, she kind of had no audience, no offer. She didn't even know what her skill was. And we put something together. She went out there, she made $100,000 with it. And then there was Becky, who just took a very small gift like this, made 80,000 out of it. And I remember when I just met Matt before we go to know each other, he watched one video of mine, 20 minutes. He went and made 128,000 from it. This stuff worked. I knew it worked. But then I started attracting people who would kind of take the strategy and they would come back and tell me, this doesn't feel aligned. And the energy around that doesn't feel, I'm like, okay, I don't feel I'm doing enough. I don't feel I can increase my prices. I feel that's too much money to ask. I feel like a bad person asking for that kind of money. And I'm like, okay. I don't like to sell like that. I don't like to market like that. I'm like, oh, okay. I want to use more of my intuition. I want to stop sourcing. And I'm like, okay. So I began to talk to these people, and they had a lot of language. They had a lot of frequency, identity, energetics, alignment. And I'm like, okay. And I looked at myself and thought, that stuff doesn't, it's not my experience. Like, I never sat there and thought about this stuff. Everything was kind of buzzwords for me. And I was like, if you're worried about your frequency and your energy, and oh, when do we get to do the work? And I tried not to get involved in that world for the longest time. I just kept telling people, this is very simple. I want you to think, how do I consume marketing? What kind of people do I feel attracted to? What kind of stuff do I find attractive? Who do I hire? What kind of people are appealing to me? I want you to think, how do I like to buy? I want you to think, how do I do the things that I do? And I want you to create like that. I want you to just forget everything else that you think is happening, the energy and the frequency. And I say to them, just create work for somebody like you. Create work that loves you as you are. Create work for you, the person who sees the world like you and values what you value. Put it out there and let those people come. But then I started to notice people would write 5 posts and they would go, it's not working. I'm like, what do you mean it's not working? Like nobody's commenting. And I'd be like, you hired me a week ago. Did you kind of comment on everything I did? Like, can you trace back how you hired me, why you hired me, and kind of see how it works? And they'll be like, yeah, I get it. And then they would go back and post 2 things and they'll be like, it's not working. I'll be like, why do people overthink this? And I thought I was being clear, like, okay, you don't know how to market. Fine. I want you to go on the internet and I want you to identify your best 5 people, the people that you spend time with their brand. And I want you to write down what you like about those people. And I want you to get your own how you consume marketing, how you buy, how you don't buy, what you find attractive, what you don't, what you click on, what you don't, how you. I want you to kind of go and pick the things you like. And I want you to think, how can I give this? And people didn't get it. It's like, okay. And I remember last year, I was having this little mastermind. I usually have like very small masterminds. This one had like 4 women. That's it. So we were 5 people. And I said to them, I feel so frustrated because I feel like people complicate all these things. I feel like people overthink this. And I said to them, what do you find complicated about business? I said, how do you attract people? Think how do you get attracted? Who attracts you and what do they do? And that might be how you want to do it. I said to them, how do you demonstrate that you can help people? Do you like to show up and teach? Like I like to show up and teach. Do you like to give people a quiz and do a debrief? Because I like that too. Do you like to do masterclasses? Do you like to do workshops? Do you like to do webinars? How do you demonstrate your expertise? Because people want to kind of see that you're embodiment of what you sell. People want to see that you can actually deliver before they hire you. And I said, how do you attract? How do you demonstrate? I said, how do you invite people into what you buy? I said, simply ask yourself, how do I buy? When I find somebody I like, I watch all their stuff and I message them and say, how do I buy from you? You don't have to put it CTA. You don't have to have offers. If I like your stuff, if I like who you are, if there is a connection, I will find the thing. I will message you and say, how do people work with you? I don't need to be sold to. I can buy a 5-figure offer off a Google Doc. I don't need a meeting. But I do need to feel like I can watch your social media and know exactly who you are. I need to feel like you're not pretending to be successful, more successful than you are. I need to feel like you are you. And that is, I can see myself in your brand. So when I hire people, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, when I'm making that kind of money for sure, I'll be doing that. They're probably just walking by their own swimming pool and their own luxury places. And I'm like, that person doesn't feel like they're trying to show me their stuff. I feel like it's just their stuff. They embody their stuff. And that feels good. That feels aligned. That feels true to me. And I'm like, yeah, I want to work with that guy. I sit and watch everything they have in like an hour. I read all their posts, I watch all their videos. I can spend a day doing that. And then I message them and they say, do I work with you? Or I ask them about an offer that they have. That is my buying process. I can lead myself to buy something. And that's how I sell. People who want to buy from me will find their way to buy from me. So I started to explain to her, I said, that's how I invite people. I said, deliver. Because I was trying to explain to them the pillars of business. I said, you attract people, you demonstrate what you can do, you invite them into your offers, and you deliver. I said, deliver. I pay for access, I pay for proximity, I pay for speed, I pay for immersion. That's what I pay for. I don't pay for how cheap is it. I don't pay for 100 people programs where I'm like a number in the corner. I don't pay for how cheap is the thing. I pay for, can I get access to you? Can I condense time? Can I get customization? Can I message you when I have thoughts in the morning? Or do I have to wait for the group call? Like, that's what I pay for. If I hire you, I'm not thinking, I hope you have a year's content inside your portal. Because if you do, I think it's amazing for certain people, but not for me. I'm thinking, where is customization in all of this? I feel like I have enough, and sometimes I just need somebody to bounce off ideas with. Sometimes I need to speak to somebody who's been where I am right now to kind of give me a lens into where I am. And like, oh, Prima, if you wanted to save 10 years, here's how I would think. I want the person who's going to help me access the wisdom of my sage to then make a decision which wiser old Prima would make. Why do I hire people? Not because they're better than me, not because they have answers I don't. It is because I want somebody who can hold space, like wiser old Prima. 10 years later, Prima, what kind of decision would she make in this moment? I want somebody who can be a reflection of that, who I am 10 years from now. I want to get advice from this person and I want to have access to that. That's what I pay. I don't pay for how many videos are in the portal. I don't pay for how many calls do I get. I'm comfortable paying for chat, like somebody who can give me access to Messenger. Very comfortable. So I said to them, this is the business. This is how you build a business. It's like, how do you attract people? How do you demonstrate what you can do? How do you invite them into your offers? And how do you deliver the thing that you want to deliver? I said, this is the work. I said, but above all, it is who are you when you're doing these things? Who are you? Like, when you do your body of work, it's not magic. Like, it's not rocket science. There is somebody out there who is looking for the work because that is how it works. Whatever body of work you've created, somebody out there is looking for it. But if you're saying, I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, I don't know, I'm taking a picture of my food today because I want to show people that I'm worthy. If you're not embodying what you teach, none of that stuff will work. You're going to post twice, nobody's going to like it, and then you're going to go, this doesn't work. It does. But if you stop posting, then it doesn't work. And so I asked them, why is it that people complicate this? And one of my clients said, you know what, Prima? I've been your client for a year now, and I feel like you avoid teaching the reason why this doesn't work for people. I feel like you just want to be matter of fact, teach people strategy, and say, be you, embody your work and do the thing. And she said, but it doesn't work like that. We're stuck in the energetics of these things. Even though you don't like to teach it, we will be stuck in the energetics. And so, like, I've been your client, and I feel like you don't like to do the work. It's like you've held beautiful spaces for me. I have released things. But every time you do it, you're like, I really don't like to do this. Like, she said, you don't like to do the energy work. And unfortunately, we get stuck in that. So this room had like spiritual teacher, people who teach this work, people who teach energy, people who teach frequency, people who teach this work, people who help people. And I was like, okay. So in my mind, I said, all right, so these guys have this part handled. They can do their energetics, they can do their frequency work, they can do their identity work, they can do their shadow work. I can give them the strategy. And that didn't work. They were still stuck in the energetics. It's like somebody needs to hold space for you no matter how far you go. And I was like, okay, because I was having very capable women with extraordinary work, and they were stuck in the being, they were stuck in the energy of things, they were stuck, they were overcomplicating everything. I'm like, this is so simple. If only you can embody what you're doing, what you're teaching, if you become a mirror to what you teach, I guarantee you business is the easiest part. And this year I've sat and really appreciated how much work I put for myself by not wanting to dig into this energetics. Because when I did the rewiring of my brain, I didn't think what that did. I didn't think what that I didn't think about what that did, which was it condensed time for me. And so my experience was normal, doing my thing, did all this work, and suddenly I felt like the wall had collapsed. And I came online and I was like, I can go live, I can post. I don't have a lot of overthinking. And I'm like, I knew that not doing this was costing me, costing lives, but I was like, yeah, but I want to teach the strategy stuff. And this year, I was like, okay, Prima, you're actually sitting down and you're getting to learn the frequency stuff, the energy stuff. You're getting to learn all that stuff. Last year, I did some work, which is like understanding the mental constraints and how that works and how you kind of bring the world down. And when I did that work, the Prima that came out was like, yeah, I'm teaching, I'm going to study this stuff. I'm going to study energetics. I'm going to teach frequency. I'm going to learn this stuff. I'm going to kind of sit down and understand how this worked for me. I'm going to kind of sit down and put a framework to this. I'm going to sit down and understand this work. And I'm so glad that I'm doing that because I'm realizing so much of what keeps a lot of women stuck. And me being their guide as they build their business and not holding space for this work was really the biggest disservice I think I've done. Trusting that people are going to go do their energetics and I'm going to just focus on the strategy. Saying to clients, in this moment, I think you need energy work. So go over there, get that done, and then come back. It didn't work. And some people at some point thought, yeah, I don't have a life good enough for people to follow it. So I don't know how much my work matters. It really matters. It matters more than you know. People started to think, yeah, I'm not doing enough, so it doesn't matter. This platform is not working, and this platform is not working, and this platform is not working because I'm looking at the statistics and I don't know, 5 people have watched it. Well, have you thought about 5 people in a retreat with you, paying you your highest fee? How does that look when you look at it like that? Oh, well, my reach was only 100. Could you put 100 people in a room, your best people, and feel into that? Yeah, this week I posted twice, so I feel like I'm not posting enough. Have you thought about focusing on potency? Have you looked at your work like this is your IP, this is your body of work, this is This is work that will represent you 100 years from now. I can't keep up with posting. I can't go live at 9 because I have to take my kids to school. Yeah, what about 1? What about 5? What about 10 p.m.? Yeah, but they said you have to post in this. I'm like, and so I'm so glad that I've actually started to learn this work. I've started to like go back and kind of say, oh, that's why I do that. That's why I feel like that. Oh, okay. Hmm. So that's frequency, that's vibration, that is energy. And I've also been the person who looked at those words and I said they're buzzwords or it is woo woo. Now I'm like, it makes a lot of sense. It helps me to hold a better space for people when I understand and can do the work. This year, I'm like, hmm, they said post every day. Okay, what about post when you have the pull to post? What about that? Seems to work well. This year, I'm like, they say post between 9 and midday. I'm like, what about post when I want to post? Go live when I want to go live. How about do the things the way I consume? Like, how about try something different? This person has made $1 million and you have to have a sales funnel and appointment setters and DM setters. And I'm like, how about I don't buy like that? I wouldn't buy like that. And I'm going to create work for people who buy like me, people who can lead themselves to the sell, people who can pay for the things I want to sell. The market has changed and you have to decrease your prices and do a membership and charge $10 and serve 1,000 people. How about look at me and kind of go, what am I paying for right now? Same thing, paying for access, paying for speed, paying for proximity, and paying for people who have what I want 10 years later. How about that? So this year I've taken on the role of, is it like an observer? Is it like a scientist? Yeah. Post every day, gotta be top of mind for people. And I'm thinking, set up your social media in such a way that when people find you, they can take themselves around. Deliver your work, teach, let people see how you think, have your offers out, and post when there is something coming through. The right people will find that. And they won't be thinking, oh, she didn't post yesterday, she must not be good. I've never thought like that. Like I've never gone to someone's feed and go, how often do they post? I hear about you. Maybe a networking environment or somebody talks about you, or I hear about you somehow. And it's not like I'm just scrolling and dooming. I'm like, oh, I hear about you. I'm like, okay, I'll check that out. And then I get to your social media. I look around. I watch some of your videos. And I decide, do I want to follow this person or not? I have never sat on my phone and started to doom scroll and phone somebody. Sometimes somebody I learn from, follow, respect, say something about you. And I go, okay. Then I discover you like that. Sometimes I'm in a community and somebody talks about you. Like somebody says, "Hey, what do you recommend for blank?" And your name shows up. And I discover you like that. And when I discover you, I go in your world and I see what you have and I make a decision from that. Sometimes it's a networking event and you're just a cool person. You don't have the best speech, but you're just a cool person. You speak and I feel the connection and I go, I'm going to look up that person later. I come on social media and I type in your name. Nothing to do with the algorithm. When I find you, I watch a good number of your stuff. If I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I go from there. That has made me think, what if that's how my people behave? What if the algorithm didn't matter? What if all that mattered is that I heard the best stuff? What if all that mattered is that everybody that went through my hands came out and could say this is a masterpiece? The world needs to hear about. What if all it took was people discovering who I am, watching a video like this and going, I like how she thinks. I like how she sees the world. And what if they could somehow look around and find more things and more things and more things and decide if I'm their guide or not? What if that is really what it was? What if my people also behave like me? Because everybody I've hired, I have known about them somehow from a trusted source or met them offline and liked their vibe, met them at coffee and said, oh, I like this person. Met them in our hotel lobby and said, oh, something about this person. Then you connect with them on social. Somebody I was paying said, oh, this person, that's what they do. You need to have a look at their stuff. What if there wasn't anything outside of how I move, how I do stuff? What if there were enough primas in the world, women that are brave enough to see what they want and they say, I'm getting that? What if there were enough women in the world who could lead themselves to buy it? What if there were women, enough women who thought like me? I don't need anybody to sell to me. I don't need to be convinced. I don't need a funnel. I don't need to be on your email list for years to buy. You don't have to keep top of mind. It's not necessary. I have a list of people, and from time to time, I will go into social media and I will say, I wonder what Gloria Mayfield Banks is doing now. They have my respect. I have an affinity to them. And they remind me, Prima, 10 years, 20 years from now. They represent wiser, older me. I want to look them up because I want to, because they're an inspiration for me that goes beyond the algorithm. That is how I consume social media. I go on and I'm like, the vibe today is, and I go to that person. Doesn't matter how many offers they're putting out, doesn't matter how many CTAs they have, it doesn't matter. It only matters that it's probably the right time for me. I'm a match for that thing, and they just happen to have it. So sometimes I would just message them and say, do you have work around blank? I have seen people that taught frequency work, energetics, shadow work for years. And I was never interested in that work. And suddenly I'm now thinking, I want to understand this work because I think doing it will make me a more potent space holder for people. I feel like the results will move from here to like when I add this one. And I know exactly who to look up for that. If I don't, I'm going to message somebody that I trust, somebody I pay a lot of money, and I'm going to say, I'm looking to study or understand this kind of thing. Who do you recommend? I'm going to post in communities I'm a part of and say, I'm looking to look into this. Who do you recommend? And I'm going to look at the options and see the person who mirrors me in that work. A matter of fact, I am not exactly feminine energy. I think I'm different. So I don't believe in be feminine and breathe in and breathe out. I think you can be both feminine and masculine. You can get stuff done and also receive. So I'm looking for somebody who kind of sees energy like that. I don't want to be just masculine or just feminine. I think I can be both. I think there's a place to receive and a place to get stuff done. I'm looking for somebody who understands those concepts and who embodies those concepts. I'm looking for Prima inside energetics. I'm looking for the person who's embodied the things in how I see them myself and how they need to be able to explain to me my own embodiment of this concept. Because I can see that I have done the work. I can see that I have become somebody, but I'm kind of thinking, who's the best person to break this down for me? A lot of it is the personality of the person. There has to be a connection. A lot of it is the DNA. They kind of have to have this DNA of how I see the world, the courage. It's how brave I think they have been through their life. It is how they're showing up. It is what they have created. Do I want that? That's a lot of, this is kind of what it is. It is not how many times they've posted. It is not if they have the sexiest offer. It is not, it's none of all these things. It's not how cool their things look. It is who they are in the spirit. That's who I buy from. I've been doing a lot of reflecting and kind of going, makes a lot of sense. Like I've been looking at my own behavior as a creator who also buys things. And I've been thinking there's a lot of things that are misunderstood because somebody that's made 100 million is saying that thing. And so people take it as the end in all. And they struggle because that thing is not for who they are. It doesn't work for them. And so what this ends up happening is like, yeah, I like to create my body of work, but I don't like to promote it or sell it. Yeah, that's because you're trying to sell it and promote it. Like the guy who's made 100 million, but hasn't hasn't they're not where you are. And you can tell that if I probably spoke the frequency and vibration work, I would probably deliver this better. But it's really what it is. It's not working because you're trying to do it like that guy over there who's not wired the way you're wired. It's much easier for me to do videos like this because I can go back to human design and pick that line up. So I have been showing up a little bit more like a scientist. I've been looking at my relationships. and going. Sometimes I wake up and I go, how did I get so lucky? How is this my life? I always knew that relationships are supposed to be this way. I want to be here. You want to be here. I want to make your life better. You want to make my life better. We are a team and we all want to be here. It's your birthday and I'm not forgetting about it. It's our anniversary and I am not forgetting about it. You're top of mind. I am canceling everything to just celebrate that moment. If it's Valentine's Day, you're the person I'm thinking about. I want to make sure you feel loved and appreciated and you feel recognized as my love of my life. It's your birthday. I want you to know that that is special for me. I'm not forgetting that. I'm not having another priority over that. It's our anniversary and it matters to me. I've always somehow known that this kind of level of love was possible. But I've also, in the past, I remember before I got married, I used to have people trying to date me, and on Valentine's Day, they would, I don't know, have their phone off, fall off a cliff, have no internet connection. 3 days later, they would come, oh my God, I forgot about Valentine's. Da 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 da. I'm like, really? How very convenient. On my birthday, who knows? Something more important would show up. And I'd be like, how so convenient. On the days that mattered, somebody's trying to get in my life. And on every day that matter, they have a reason why they can't prioritize that. And I would go, no, doesn't work like that. If I have to remind you about everything that is important to me, if I have to ask you, why aren't you here? Dinner is getting cold. I was so like, what I want also wants me. And for me, like I have had a different approach to love and this stuff because if I feel like I can be faithful to you, I can be there for you, I can prioritize you, I can celebrate you, I can honor you, I can make you the only person in my world. I can do those things. I can live with you in a way that you're 100% sure you're the person, you're the one. If I can do those things, there has to be somehow the way that that is available somewhere. I always thought, okay, it's interesting that you don't care about birthdays and Valentine's Day and well, those things are kind of a big deal for me. So no, I don't think that'll be much of it. So I think about how I always showed up for dates, dinners, or whatever. And I was in my denim and t-shirt and sneakers and short hair and maybe lipstick, no makeup. And for some people, it was like, oh, I thought you'd come with a high, I don't know, 5-inch heel and pretty red dress. And in my head, I'm thinking, no, and maybe we're not a match. I don't want to have heels breaking my back just to impress you. And I thought to myself, not a match. Now it really helps when I look at it in terms of energy, frequency, and all this stuff. Because before I just thought, what I want wants me back. What I can offer, somebody is able to offer that. I used to think there has to be somebody who is ambitious like me. There has to be somebody who is as brave as I think I am. There has to be somebody who believes in like somebody who has faith in like a bigger life. There has to be somebody who can say, yeah, you know, that luxury life, that extraordinary life, we'll get there too. I wanted that. And I thought, if I'm wrong for wanting those things, there's a mismatch here. And that's kind of how I've gone through life like that. Sometimes I wake up and I go, maybe I should stop taking these things for granted. Maybe somebody needs to study these things. When I look around and I'm like, yeah, maybe you need to start creating IP for this kind of process that you've been through. And not doing that is robbing women of the opportunity to step into who they know they can be and claim everything they know is available for them. There's something that we started doing with Mark. I got this thing today and I was thinking, how so cool. I got this. It's a letter. I posted it on my social. It's a letter from a charity that we contributed to a while ago. I wasn't even thinking much, but Matt has this thing where he believes in miracles and creating miracles for people. And so we can be walking on the road and Matt will see a street baby sat in the road. There's a lot of street babies in Uganda, and he will kind of go, okay, we'll go into the shop, shopping our meals and stuff, and you will see him at the counter of food, pick up something, probably cost $10 or whatever. And it will be a nicely packed meal. And when we come back, he'll give it to the street baby. And when they are young, they kind of get this, oh my God, like they jump up and down, and he lives for that. Like he lives for that expression. He'll give them the food, and if they're babies, they will dance like, oh my God, oh my God. It's a miracle. And now I've gotten used to it. But before, I used to kind of look at it and go, isn't this so cute? He's made me understand the power of like miracles. And now when I see somebody on the street who can't feed themselves, I go, oh, there is somebody waiting for a miracle. We could be a miracle to that person. And so when we saw this, we were going into the shopping mall and we saw this outside the shopping mall. And automatically I thought, oh, another miracle that we can create in the world. And so we contributed to this because it's just a value, like an unspoken value that we have. We like to create miracles, and we just contributed and we left. I forgot about it. And today I got this letter, a letter from them that says, because you contributed, we were able to do this. We were able to do this. We were able to do this. And I was like, oh my God, we are part of the people that are creating miracles in the world. Like, how powerful is that? And now I can kind of go back and think about all the things that were known in the books that have happened for us. And I'm like, yeah, we're part of some kind of orbit that is distributing miracles in the world. Wouldn't it be so cool to be able to explain that to people? Naturally, we see somebody who is like in need and we want to help. Somebody doesn't have food and we just buy a meal for that day. It's not a big commitment. It's a meal, it's $10 or less. We see somebody who can't afford the hospital and we're like, let's take care of this person. We just go in the world, we look at people and we're like, yeah, that's our miracle for today. That's who we're becoming a miracle for today. And because of doing that, I can sit here and kind of see the miracles that have dropped for us. And I'm like, it's like 100-fold. It's like something will drop and it will save us 10 years. Something will drop And it will save us so much pain. Something will drop and we'll be like, did that just happen? And this is why I'm being fascinated and fascinated more and more about the feelings, how divine works, and how the whole universe works. And the little things that have made such a difference for me that I think I haven't been able to share because I avoided talking about this topic for the longest time. What happens when they show up live? Nobody watches it because nobody's online. Most people are not online. It's 11. It's like 3 a.m. for people. I record this video. A woman watches it. They say nothing. And 2 years later, they're like, my husband got into politics. We've been working so hard. We've been so busy. But I watch your videos and I'm ready to do this kind of thing. Do you support people with that? And I'm like, hello? How long have you been watching the videos? Has that happened to you? Like, have you seen clients fall from the clouds on your lap? That's because your work matters. As long as you show up, you just share. Somebody is going to see it and they're going to watch it, and it's going to be exactly what they need. To explain that, I do have to really understand how to deliver my thoughts in the words that make sense for people. And so one of the things I'm excited about this year is being able to dive into the energetics of things and being able to explain the energetics of my being, my becoming. And why who I am is more important than anything I do. I've had people that came to me and they said, I have this 7-figure funnel. I'm doing everything this guy is doing and I'm not getting anything. And I keep saying, not what, it is who. People buy from who more than they buy from what. And the more I look at what's happening with AI, and the more I kind of look at what's going on in the world, the more the who is becoming more important by the day, by the day, by the day. So this year, I feel like I'm tapping into something so powerful. And I want to share the journey. I want to share how that looks like. I didn't post on Facebook for most of 2025. And so you can imagine, people have to get used to the fact that I'm posting again and I'm showing up again because this matters. And it's not going to happen inside a private community. It's going to happen here, billions, when you can speak to billions instead of speaking to hundreds in the community. It might build a community still, but it might be public because I want to reach more women who are like me. I want to create a movement of more people like me. And for now, I'm calling it Prima FM. I just show up and transmit a frequency that has numbers 97.0. And those who like Afrobeat, they connect to that channel because it plays Afrobeat. Because that's how I believe this work moves. It's like a frequency. It's like when you go to 97.0, they play Afrobeat. So when you like Afrobeat, you listen to that station. That's how it works. I was creating this video because I wanted to share my thoughts with you. I hope something was helpful for you. I hope something was relevant for you. At the moment, I have a container called Recalibrate. And Recalibrate is a container for women who are like, yep, I feel like right now I'm wearing shoes that are a little bit too small for my feet. And I feel like my toes are like this. They're beginning to feel, or maybe you feel like, I've been actually trying to walk in the 5-inch heels and my back is beginning to hurt. And maybe what I want right now is Cinderella shoes. Recalibrate. An experience for women who are moving from one place to another place. They're like, I need to recalibrate things. I need to do some tuning. I need to clean up a little bit. For women who are like, yeah, I don't know. The business is not, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling what I'm building. I feel like I'm doing so much for not so much in return. I want to recalibrate the potency of my work. I want to step up that. I feel my business doesn't really represent who I am today. 8 weeks to do that. It's for women who are like, my marriage is okay. But I know it could be up there. I know there's another level to this marriage. And I want to make sure I recalibrate before things get worse. I don't want to settle for this because I feel like that next level in my relationships, yeah, I feel like I desire that. I feel like, yeah, but there's that next level and I want that. So women that are like, I have this job, I should be grateful. But if I am to be honest, I feel like I've outgrown the job. So why can't I take my skills and build something else? Maybe you feel like how I felt 10 years ago. You're like, I could be the best employee here, or I could go have a mission and change lives. I don't know where to start. And there's a little voice inside me saying, what if you lose it all? What if it doesn't work? Who do you think you are to change lives? Recalibrate. You're like, I need a plan. I know I need to be doing this thing over there, but what is the plan? What is that bridge from here to there? I'm so scared. I don't have a plan. What's your problem? It's for women that are like, actually, I want to be here. I want to be in this job. But I feel like I should be 10 steps ahead. I feel like I've outgrown this position and I need another one. Maybe in the same company, maybe not. You're like, yeah, my skills right now, I need to be in another position, getting paid something else to lead people, to lead a different type of person. And maybe I haven't had the confidence to get on the interviews. Or when I've gotten on the interviews, I have been passed on. I don't know why people with less skills are getting promoted and I'm not. How am I possibly in my own way? What part of me is keeping me small? It's a problem. 8 weeks. That's the only thing you can buy right now. At least for the whole of Q1. It's the only thing you can buy. People who come out of Recalibrate may apply to work with me one-on-one. Application only. There's people that are doing Recalibrate as one-on-one, but again, that's application. Yeah. So if that's something that you desire in your life right now, you can message me and I can send you a document that explains more about Recalibrate, how it works, who it's for, and how to get involved. If you're like, yeah, I really want like mentorship, one-on-one work, let's have you apply. Let's see how that may work out or not work out. Because I'm having really small space for that. So I have to offer it to the right person. That's it from today. If this was supportive for you, if it was helpful, and if you're like, more women need to discover Prima FM, I'll be so grateful if you shared this with them. The more women we can reach, the sooner we can form this movement where we normalize being brave, where we normalize the next mile, where we normalize actually getting the things that we want in our lives, where we normalize the things that most people only wish they could get, like peace of mind, like the freedom to wake up when you want to wake up, no alarms, like waking up every day knowing you are loved and cherished and prioritized, like building a business that is rather effortless. You just show up and share your body of work. And that goes to people exactly like you. We just have to see you in action. And they know that they will find out how to buy from you. No do's, no don'ts, no wrongs, no rights. You get paid to be all of who you are. I want to build a movement where that's normal, where that's expected, where that's the norm. I want to build a business. I want to build a movement where you can charge at your highest capacity. You can charge to hold people, hold space for people at your highest level. You get chosen or compared. People want to pay you because of how much you represent what they want for themselves. Why not? I've done that. I have received that. So I believe it's available for people. Until we meet again, I believe in you. I believe you're brave enough to go after the things that you want. And I believe that you will lead yourself to those things. Have a great Friday, my friend. And I hope you found this support.